Welcome and thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello, Laurie, and like I was saying, I'm very happy to be here. I'm very honored that you choose to do this interview with me.
Of course, of course. I'm super excited to have you. I know you as my audio guy, but as we got to, chatting and getting to know one another a bit better, you had some surprises in your back pocket, and I found out, all these other talents, and I couldn't help but want to go ahead and help you share your story. So I'm super excited to dive into entrepreneurship as your journey. But before we do, I want to rewind the clock just a bit. Let's go back to the days of junior high or high school when you were a child. And let's think about the time when an aunt or an uncle or even a teacher in school would have asked you what it is you wanted to be when you grow up. What was the answer to that question?
Sure. Well, at first, I think that in high school, we I always liked music. It was my first passion. And one day I was talking to my parents and saying that I want to learn to play the guitar. And one day my father surprised me at when I was leaving school, and he was waiting with the guitar in his hand, and I was shocked. And from then on, I start my guitar classes, and I was getting into music. And my other passion that I currently work on two passions. The other one is board games. I'm from long as I can remember, I like board games, and I like playing, twist the rules, making my own rules, and playing with people. So in a moment, I was able to start to work in both of those things, playing in bands with music, playing as a session recording musician, recording music, working in a studio. And in the board game side, I was able to publish my own games to a company that we started with some friends. Now we are launching games in Spain. We are working with people in Greece. We are working with people in Germany. So we are kind of expanding on that area. I feel very lucky to be able to work on the things that I consider my passion. That is very important to me. And both things, to answer your question, comes as from longer than I can remember.
Wow. And I see that you got a lot of board games behind you. So you definitely are not only just a player, you are a developer and master at it. So when did you decide to turn that from playing games to developing games and saying, I'm going to be a entrepreneur, a business owner, and I'm going to make this my life?
Sure. When I was in 2014, I was designing my own games, but as a hobby for me, for my friends, for my family. But we go with some friends. We go to a video game conference here in Argentina, and I was carrying in my backpack a game that I designed just to show to some people there. And I show the game to some people that were at the conference, and one said to me, "Hey, why don't you publish this game? It's good. It's very good." And I was like, I don't know if it's that good. I don't know, but he convinced me. He talked to me like for an hour of what I can do. And when I was back into my city, I decided, okay, I will do it. I will take the chance. So I self-published my first game. I pay for all the printing. I manufacture the game myself. I carry all the print, the raw printings to my home, and I was like cutting, like making the box, everything. I did it to myself. It was like a one-man job entirely.
Wow.
The game, I was starting to sell it by myself. Also, I was going to game conventions, to every gather that I could go with my games to sell them, and it started to grow. And at the moment, one small company from Argentina offered me to buy my game,
Oh,
to
wow.
to publish, to sell the license.
Okay.
So I say yes because I was kind of tired to do all the work by myself,
Hmm.
but that doesn't go well. This company finally did not publish the game. We did not get to an agreement, but all the work developing the game was already done. So I say to my friends, we were starting a company in those days, but a video game company. It's
Okay.
something that we also do. But I say, look, this game is already finished. Let's not waste it.
Hmm.
So we finished the little things that were missing, and we published the game by ourselves. But this time with bigger money inversion, so
Okay.
we could reach some a good retail price to offer the game to some shops and stuff. And
Uh-huh.
from then on, we start to publish every year one or two games.
Oh, cool. Now, how is it different between like the video games and board games? I mean, now with kids and they have the video games and the mobile games, how is it in the market when it comes to board games comparing to the more digital era?
I think that each thing has their own space to exist without it. For sure, there are many instances that video games and board games touch each other and kind of go one over the other. But especially in these times with the pandemic going on, I think that many families turn to board games because it has a social component that video games have, but in another way,
Yeah.
in the virtual world. But you can play game with your friends, connect each other, chat, and it's a very good experience. But board games has a different kind of social interaction, more close, more intimate, I think,
Uh-huh.
and those things people appreciate. So
Okay.
I think that especially from the last 5 years, 4 years,
Hmm.
people are playing board games very often, very much more than before.
Okay.
I grew up playing board games. I absolutely adore them. But I was cracking up when you mentioned, changing the rules. It sounds a lot like my child in the house. I don't remember ever playing one board game without the rules being changed at some point throughout the game. But I love that you took that passion from, childhood of just the love of board games and took that into game development, how you really took that passion, cultivated it, found that validation of your thought process, found the validation for the concept. Someone mentioned to you, surrounding yourself with the right people is important. And that person mentioned to you, this is something you should patent, this is something you should license. And that sparked that drive and that thought process for you to really start moving forward with the development of it. And despite the fact that there was a moment where the original plan was foiled, that didn't stop you. You continued to move forward and found another way to implement that into what you're still doing. So extremely resourceful, and I absolutely love that. So tell us a little bit about the games that you have out right now. What would you love to highlight?
Sorry, what was the question?
No worries. Tell us about any of the games that you currently have. Tell us about your company, Randolph's.
Okay, sure. We start like a video game company because we enter a contest here in Argentina where the government, if you win, they give you the money to develop a video game. So we enter that contest and we win. So we develop our first video game with that money, but since we start publishing board games, we we published two video games, but in the board game area, we publish now, I think, I don't want to say a wrong number, but six games, because 6 or 7 games, depend
Wow.
on which you consider, because we work our own board games, but we also do work for other companies or private companies that want board games for a specific uh, purpose, and we develop the board game for them. It's many times is not for selling, but we develop the game. For example, in 2018,
Mhm.
we developed a board game to my city, to Villa Maria. It's the city where I live in Argentina. So um, we developed a board game for the city, like Villa Maria, the board game. So
Okay.
so
Love
yeah,
that. It's not
that
just for entertainment purposes. You're truly creating a game that's representing your city, but you're also helping other entrepreneurs who want to have board games or games in general develop. You're helping them bring that dream to fruition, correct?
yes, sure.
That's awesome. You're so amazing. Martin, it never stops. Every time I learn something new, I'm like, this guy rocks. I'm super excited to help you here.
Thank you very
Oh,
much, Lori.
so
No, and we start a series of board game during 2020. That is another area that we are currently working on. That has proven to be very good for us because it's free games. That may kind of sound weird, but in 2020, many sites where we print the games
Mhm.
were closed. So we say, okay, what can we do? Because we can't manufacture the games, we can't sell them, we can't get to the people.
Mhm.
So I made a game that the only thing you need to do was to print an A4
Oh
piece of
wow.
paper in your home, and with a couple of dice and pencil, you can play. So we released that game for free, and
Mhm.
we translated to English language, so we can reach to many more people. And it was a very good call, because thanks to that game, we then do another of the same in the same way. But thanks to that first game, we get to many outside publishing companies that maybe they don't hear from us before, but for that game, they could take a look of what we do, what kind of games we develop. So it was a very good call, because later in 2020 and early in 2021, we get to sell many of our license to outside countries, and that was very
congratulations.
good.
Wow.
You may think that at first selling releasing a game for free is
Mhm.
not good, but it's a very good uh, publish.
So it opened opportunities for you.
Yes,
That's great.
sure,
Yeah.
sure.
So my question is a little bit off, little bit away from that. How do you deal with cheaters? Because you know people cheat on these games.
No, I think games are not meant for cheating. If you cheat, you're simply not playing the game. You're just cheating. So I think you're ruining the experience for you, and for the people that is playing with you. So I it's
You
not
know what my
something
daughter would
that
tell
we
you
can
guys?
control, but I think it's not fun to do that. So
Exactly. Look, quite the contrary. My daughter would disagree, and she'd let you know she's not cheating. she's adjusting the rules to make the game more acceptable to her playing styles. Okay. She was a debater, quite the debator. So, no, I absolutely love it. Martin, the show is really designed to help entrepreneurs come up with an idea for a business in an industry that they weren't thinking of. And you are the very first game designer that we've had on the show. So I'm curious, if you had a magic wand and could wave it and change anything at all that would help you in your industry, what would it be and why?
I think that the only thing that I would like to change is that I was taking the chances earlier, because I think that if perhaps in the place that I am today, I could have been earlier if I just have taken chances before than I did. So I think that is the only thing, because we all make mistakes. All entrepreneurs are going to make mistakes, and it's good because you learn from them. But I think that the one thing that I would like to change is that take the chances as soon as you can, because in most cases you have absolutely nothing to lose.
True. Very
Good
true.
advice.
Yes, there's no such thing as failure. There's only feedback. And 100%, I agree with you, Martin. Had I had the opportunity to rewind the clock and start a lot sooner than I did, I too would have. Because, there's so much that we can accomplish, and there's so little time to do so. And when you get started and you finally get into the journey, you're like, I should have done this a while ago. So, no, I agree with you. Definitely. Sure. I'm sorry, say that again, Jeff?
Oh, well, my biggest takeaway is this. For all those people that told us as a kid that you playing video games would take you nowhere, take that. This is the interview to let y'all know that this is a business.
Sure. Board games and video games are made by people who play them. So
you got it.
If you like it, if you like something, you have to work for it. You have to. Today there are professional video games that the players play those games, earn money for playing those games, and I think that it's a very, very unique thing that many years before nobody will think about it. But
right. The opportunity didn't exist, and the lack of knowledge as to how it could assist in the future also didn't exist for many parents. So, 80s and 90s, I think we all were subject to those moments where our parents were like, put the game down. Put it down. And even today, I know I've had those moments with children, where you're like, put the game down. But truly, if we are fostering the right activities and making sure that they're using that in the best way possible, it's not a negative. It can easily be turned into something as amazing as your career, Martin. So thank you so much for joining us and for sharing your story today.
No, thank you, Laurie. Thank you, Jeff. And I'm very glad to be here, and I'm very glad that you give me this space to tell a little bit of my story.
Sorry.